Welcome once again. So in the previous video, I had looked at, we said we're going to be looking at the 7 stages of disease progression. So we had looked at the first one, which is innervation, then the second one, which is toxemia or toxicosis. Okay, so in this session, I want to look at irritation. Irritation is our body's response to unresolved toxemia. Okay, it's actually a reaction. Some people, you find out that sometimes your body is itching you unnecessarily, you're nauseous, you are depressed, some people are worried, stress, headaches, minor aches, pains, and insomnia. These are all signs of irritation. Some of these things tell you that something is irritating your system. But a lot of times, what do we do when we have those symptoms? We come back to our prescription drugs and we shut down that stage. That stage is the stage of unresolved toxemia. Now, does it mean there's something wrong with taking the drugs when it's an emergency? For example, there's a level of itchiness you will have that you need to just deal with it because it's going to make you so uncomfortable. Of course, deal with it, but don't ignore, don't stop at that. After dealing with it, you now need to ask yourself. That's why we're giving you this information, so that when you have those irritations that make you like feel depressed, it's bothering your system, you're having headache, you're under a lot of stress, after dealing with it with the prescription medications, don't stop at that and don't now rely on those medications. For example, you are having some reactions and all that, and you're giving some drugs to address it, maybe some cream to apply on your body and all that. You're not going to use those things for the rest of your life because you'll be doing your system a whole lot of harm. When you use those drugs and you get your relief, you now need to come back and question your body. Why was I having this irritation? Because that's actually part of the ways your body speaks. Your body is trying to alert you that, oh, you're already on the 3rd stage of disease progression. And it's trying to encourage you not to move beyond that. But what people do, what do? We just take those drugs and we forget about it, and life continues as usual. But the major reason why your body was irritated, you have not addressed it. It could be some deficiencies, it could be some things you need to address. Now, towards the end of this teaching, I'm also going to talk about how do we address some of those things, so you can understand what I meant when I said that sometimes you are actually the enemy. That, like the Bible says, a man's enemies are members of his household. Sometimes you're actually that enemy that is disturbing your house. This is a house. Remember, the Bible tells us we are God's house. We are his building. So sometimes you could be that enemy that is disturbing and making your house not to stand. Now, under irritation, when you have dealt with the immediate symptoms you are feeling, some of them, there are so many clinical drugs that you can use, because most times clinical drugs address emergencies. Just like somebody is having some terrible headaches and you just take a painkiller to calm the headache, then you now need to ask your body, what was that alarm? Because that headache, most likely is an alarm. If you don't address it, and one of the ways to address it, let me even say that quickly. One of the ways to address it, first of all, remove everything cooked food. We eat a lot. We as a people, we eat too much food. Take a little bit of discipline would help here. Remove cooked food, anything cooked from your diet, even if it's for one day. What are you doing? You're not necessarily fasting per se, because when you say fasting, that is the day hunger will now come and finish you. That day you say you want to fast. But what you're trying to do is find out why your body was giving you that alarm. Don't wait till a diagnostic test tells you why your body was giving that alarm. In the comfort of your room, you can decide, okay, the whole of today, I'm not going to eat any cooked food. Feed your body with a whole lot of living foods, fruits, vegetables, and so on and so forth. You can blend them, you can use them, you can eat them the way they are. Just be intentional. Bottom line is that you're not putting cooked food, because you see, the amount of energy the body uses in digesting cooked food will divert the body from that attention that you want to give. Like you're trying to ask the body, why was I having this headache? Why was I having this irritation? Why was I having some of these symptoms? One of the ways to ask the body those questions is to give it foods with enzymes, living enzymes inside it. Whether we like it or not, when we cook our foods, we destroy a lot of the enzymes. So if you want to ask the body questions, give it the nutrients it needs to address those issues why it was giving you the those symptoms. Don't ignore it after you have gotten relief from the symptoms, because that's what a lot of us do. Once we get relief from that headache, life continues as usual. You go out the next day, you're swallowing all the apple and fufu and all the rest of them. No, it doesn't work that way. Enable your body, because you see, the human body has the ability to heal itself of any disease when you give it the right nutrients. And before you get to the last stage of these 7 stages of disease progression, give your body the support it needs at any point in time. That's why we do what we call the spring cleaning. Spring cleaning is a program where 3 times in a week, you can make your own 2 times in a week, you remove everything cooked food from the body. Every food that is cooked, just eat your food. Eat the foods that you can be eating, that can be eaten raw, vegetables, fruits, and so on and so forth. And as much as possible, if you can get them organically, like the ones that are organically grown, you get better results. Okay, so that is irritation. Then the next one, which we've talked so much about, is inflammation. Now, inflammation is the body's most intense effort to clean and restore itself. It is the body's urgent response to irritation, to chronic irritation. So before your body gets to this point, you're already, you're already beginning to see signs that there's a problem somewhere, and some of these problems could form in form of maybe swelling, pain, disturbance, or even loss of function of a vital organ. Now, by the time of inflammation, the toxins in the system have usually concentrated in a particular organ or area of the body. Okay, so at this point of inflammation, the area becomes inflamed due to constant irritation. Now, this is the time when you begin to hear things like tonsillitis, appendicitis, hepatitis, nephritis, all the itis tells you that this is about inflammation. And of course, at this point of inflammation, depending on the particular area where the inflammation is, you may require some very urgent medical attention, okay, so that it could be addressed. Now, if it's something that has to do with your kidney, it has to be addressed, clinically speaking, okay? So these are areas you don't want to get to. But however, at this point of inflammation, there's also something that actually encourages a lot of inflammation, which we call free radicals, reactive oxygen species. All of us, we have free radicals in the body, okay? Now, when you exercise, for example, exercise vigorously, free radicals, are they your enemies? No. But when they are in excess, it becomes a problem. If you exercise vigorously, for example, you do this high intense exercise and all that, your body is generating a lot of free radicals. Now, what is the problem there? If your body does not have enough antioxidants to address that, to mop up the excess free radicals, then you could be running into some problems. So that's why you see some people, they'll tell you, oh, they do exercise every day, they are running 10,000 miles, they are running this one, and somehow the person suddenly slumps and dies, or the person develops cancer and they're getting angry. With all the healthy living, with all the keeping fit and all that, why are they having these health problems? But the reality is this: if you don't have the commensurate amount of antioxidants in the body to mop up the excess free radicals, you're going to run into problems. And this time, it's not the devil, it's the ignorance. And there's something we always tell people: you can't tell Nigerian police, for example, that, oh, you didn't know that this place is one way. Now you sabio, because Nigerian police will tell you ignorance of the law is not an excuse to break the law. So the fact that you're ignorant about these things doesn't mean that they cannot happen. So you can know so much about exercises, you can know so much about eating healthy and all that, because even your normal metabolic processes generate free radicals. But the good thing there is that God never leaves us alone in this world with the corruption in our food systems and all the rest of them. He has made provisions, and those provisions are actually in our body. For example, the glutathione we have in our body is one of the ways the body mops up free radicals. But how many people are even aware that their glutathione level is very low? There are things you need to do to be able to maintain that optimal glutathione level. So we've taken irritation, we've taken inflammation. So in the next episode, we're going to be looking at the other stages of disease progression. God bless you.
Diet and nutritional programs for cleansing the body with essential vitamins, minerals, and herbal supplements, dry brushing, lymphatic drainage massage, infrared sauna treatment, fasting, juicing, limiting the diet, organ cleansing, liver, gallbladder, kidneys, and intestinal cleansing, enemas and colonic irrigations, exercise programs.